Demeter and Persephone. At the beginning of the world, there were no winters. So all year round was perfect for farming and harvesting. The rain fell, the sun shone, flowers blossomed, the crop grew, and fruits dropped ripe and luscious from the trees. Tending them all was Demeter, goddess of the harvest. At her side, as beautiful as a wildflower, was her daughter, Persephone. She was beloved by all and adored by her mother. Persephone was so beautiful that she caught the eye of another god, Hades. The beautiful Persephone enchanted Hades, the god of the underworld. He used to look at Persephone working on the earth and was mesmerized by her. Hades went to Zeus, king of the gods, to seek permission to marry Persephone, and to his delight, Zeus agreed to his plan. As long as he could snatch her away, Persephone would be his. Hades watched and waited until Persephone was out alone one day in a field of golden corn. As she walked among their shining stems, she felt the ground tremble beneath her feet. Then, with a great crack, the earth opened before her, revealing a dark chasm. And out of it, on a horse-drawn chariot of black and gold, swept Hades. He plucked Persephone from the field as quickly as if she were a flower herself and then swept her down, down, down into the underworld. The chasm closed over their heads, and all was quiet again. When Demeter discovered her daughter was missing, she was inconsolable. She began to search the world for her, neglecting the earth she so loved. Flowers died, crops withered, fruit failed to ripen, and the soil turned to chalky dust. People and animals starved, but Demeter didn't notice. At last, Helios, the sun god, took pity on her. "Demeter," he said, "I saw that Hades had taken your daughter to the underworld." "So she's in the land of the dead," wailed Demeter. "How can Zeus let this happen?" "Zeus knew this all along," confessed Helios. In a fury, Demeter stormed Zeus' palace on Olympus. "How could you let my daughter be taken away from me by Hades?" she raged. Zeus looked down at the withered earth, the starving people, and dying plants and admitted something had to be done. So he called for Hermes, the winged messenger, and sent him down to the underworld. "Bring back Persephone," he commanded, "or all is lost." Down in the underworld, Persephone missed the sunlight, warmth, and flowers of the world above, but most of all, she missed her dear mother. Hades, however, treated her well with kindness and gentleness. She was intrigued by the dark caverns of this new realm, its glittering gemstones and how Hades handles souls of the dead. Could she, after all, become the queen of the underworld? Hades sat beside her, day after day, urging her to be happy and tempting her to eat the delicious food. Finally, the red seeds of pomegranate caught her eye. They were like glinting jewels. She looked down at the juicy red seeds. Then she popped 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 into her mouth. Hades watched her eat each one with glowing satisfaction. Just as Persephone popped her 6th pomegranate seed on her mouth, Hermes came rushing like a wind. A visitor," said Hades. "I have been expecting you." "I come from Zeus," replied Hermes. "Hades, you must let Persephone return to the earth. The king of the gods demands it." "Of course, I obey Zeus in all things," said Hades. "But in this, I can't." He held up his hands in mock sorrow. "There is a law, is there not, that it is only possible to leave the underworld if no food has passed your lips?" "That is so," said Hermes. Persephone gasped. "Yes, my love," said Hades. "You have just eaten 6 seeds of pomegranate." Hermes paused. There was a deal to be done here, and he loved nothing more than an agreement. If he returned without Persephone, the earth would die, and Zeus would never forgive him. But nor could he break the law the fates has made at the dawn of time. Hermes requested Hades to consider because the earth would suffer if he didn't. 6 seeds shall equal to 6 months, said Hermes. For 6 months of the year, Persephone shall live down here in the underworld with Hades as a queen. For the other 6, she may return to the earth and tend to the flowers, fruit, and the soul with her mother. Persephone smiled. "It is a fair plan," she said. Hades looked at smiling Persephone and agreed to let her go to the earth for 6 months if that made her happy. And so, for 6 months of the year, when Persephone reigned in darkness, Demeter wept. The leaves fell from the trees, the cold wind whipped the land, and her tears fell as rain and snow. Then in the spring, when Persephone returned, the earth burst unto life with Demeter's joy. New shoots appeared, flowers blossomed and crops ripened under a golden sun. So it went, year after year, cycle after cycle. And this is how the season came to be. The story of Persephone, the loved daughter of goddess Demeter who was kidnapped by Hades, the king of the underworld, and later became the queen of the underworld, is renowned in Greek mythology. It is the way of the ancient Greeks to explain the change of the seasons, the eternal cycle of nature's death and rebirth. The next story. The Little Mouse. Once there was a baby mouse and a mother mouse. They both lived in a hole in a warm house where they had a lot of food to eat. Since an old lady occupied the house with bad eyesight, they could easily roam around the house without being noticed. One day the mother mouse decided to take the little mouse outside their house. But the world outside the house wasn't very safe. As two mice were exploring their neighborhood, they encountered a huge ginger cat, licking its lips and waiting to devour both of them. "Mother, mother! What should we do now?" cried the little mouse clinging to his mother's tail. The mother mouse paused and stared up into the beady eyes of the hungry cat. She was not scared of the enormous cat because she knew how to deal with it. She took in a deep breath. "Woof! Woof! Woof!" barked the mother mouse. The cat was stunned and ran away as fast as it could. "That was amazing," exclaimed the tiny mouse. The mother smiled and happily replied, "And that is why it is always best to have a second language." The next story. The Fight with the Fate. Once, a small village farmer had the misfortune of owing a large sum of money to a village moneylender. The moneylender was old, unmarried and fancied of marrying the farmer's beautiful daughter. One day the farmer went to the moneylender to ask him for some more time to return the loan. The moneylender pretended to be furious for a while and then proposed a bargain. He said that if the farmer would not repay his debt, he would be punished, or he had an option to let the moneylender marry his daughter and all his debt would be waived. Both the farmer and his daughter were horrified by the proposal. There was no way the farmer could pay back the money soon, and he did not want his beautiful daughter to marry the old and cruel moneylender. The cunning moneylender suggested that they let the providence decide the matter. In an attempt to persuade the farmer to accept his deal, the moneylender made an attractive condition in deciding the fate of the father and daughter. He would keep a black and a white pebble in a bag. The girl then had to choose a pebble which would decide her fate. If she picked the black pebble, she would have to marry the moneylender and her father's debt would be forgiven. If she picked the white pebble, she did not need marry the moneylender and her father's debt would still be forgiven. If she refuses to pick the pebble, the farmer would be thrown into jail. They were standing on a path scattered with pebbles. The moneylender even called the nearby villagers to witness the event, so that no party could walk away from their words. The moneylender bent over, picked 2 pebbles and kept it in a money bag. The sharp-eyed girl noticed that he had picked 2 black pebbles instead of a black and a white. He then asked the girl to pick a pebble from the bag. The girl was confused what to do. She knew that she was being cheated by the moneylender. She thought for a while and then kept her hand into the money bag and drew out a pebble. Without looking or showing it to anyone, she fumbled and let it fall into the pebble-strewn path where it got lost among the other pebbles. "Oh, I am sorry, how clumsy of me," she said. "But never mind, if you look into the bag for the one that is left, we will know which pebble I picked." The moneylender dared not admit his dishonesty in front of the villagers. The black pebble in the bag made it look like the girl had chosen the white pebble. She did not have to marry the old moneylender and her father's debt was waived. The villagers were there to witness the whole event, which made the moneylender to keep his words. The girl changed seemingly impossible situation into an extremely advantageous one. There is always a way out of problems. Don't give up your hopes and keep trying to look for solutions. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to the channel and like this video. Thank you very much.